Hey, my love. So today is Thursday, June 13th of 2024, and I just had a memory come up on my phone, pictures, and this day 5 years ago, I think it was, yeah, it would have been 5 years ago. This day 5 years ago, I took you guys to Sunriver and we went to the water park. It was, I think, our first year of homeschooling both of you guys, if I remember right, and it was with the homeschool group. But the memory came up and I had a bunch of pictures of you guys and Clara on the rock wall. I don't know if you guys remember that. There was this like small rock wall, and there was like a front park area, and you guys played on the park area while we were eating lunch, because we couldn't eat lunch inside the swim area at the Sunriver Aquatic Center. To help kind of add to the memory why it was working that day. And so you guys got a couple pictures with Wyatt. In fact, I've posted them on social media with the three of you guys. It was a super cute picture of you guys. And yeah, it was really cool. I was blessed by the reminder that June 13th let's see here, it was 5 years ago, so 2019. Those were the good old days. Any time before 2019, right? With Wyatt was really special. It was a blessing. So I was blessed by that. I did make some peach and blueberry cobbler last night, and I recorded it on how to make the BONETA peach and blueberry cobbler, so you guys will be able to know how, or at least if you want to know how to do the make your own cobbler, you can. Yeah, I'm gonna keep this vlog a little bit shorter because I'm gonna be clipping in the how to do the cobbler. But I guess, let's see here, what else did I want to share with you guys today? I do want to make sure that at least I know, I did want to say this, Warren. I really hope and pray that you got the package. I hope that you got the money, because that wasn't just like a little bit of money, that was a lot of money for a 16-year-old. So I do hope and pray that you got the money. I do want you also to know, Clara, I know I'm going sidetrack, 180-degree turn here. Clara, you are absolutely beautiful. You are such a beautiful young lady. Okay, apart from that, Warren, you're a handsome boy, by the way, especially in that suit I saw on your vlog. You were wearing a suit, and very, very handsome. Very handsome. I'm very proud of you for your vlogging. You have such an incredible talent, and I love watching them because you are very talented. I want you to know that. I was watching, actually, I think I told you this before, but Hadi and I were watching your old vlogs that you have, and it was really cool to watch them. And I remembered, it just brought back so many memories, so many wonderful memories with you guys. And I was reminded of your guys's, or yours, mainly yours, Warren, the 24-hour challenges that you would do. That you would do a 24-hour challenge in the bathroom, and you would make like a bed in the bathtub, and I don't think they ever, I don't think they lasted very long. I don't know how many hours, but very short-lived in the bathroom. I think the longest bathroom one you had was maybe the bathroom downstairs, because your bedroom wasn't right next to it. And then you did a 24-hour challenge in the classroom. That was one of the funnest vlogs I've ever watched. I loved that vlog, Warren. So did Hadid. Note that, so I was playing your old vlogs because it's in a playlist. So I would click on play all, but they are all unlisted. So, which means they're not public, which means it doesn't count towards your watching hours. If you're wanting to get to that 4,000 watching hours so you can start making money. So I stopped playing your old vlogs on repetition because it didn't count because they're unlisted. So if you go in, I think you have to do it to every video, which is like 60 some videos. If you click public, then when I play that playlist, then you will actually get hours counted. And that's a wonderful playlist because they were all very long vlogs. So it works really good. Otherwise, you can't play a playlist. And a lot of times if you play one, then it skips. If you're not doing a playlist, it'll skip to another video that's totally unrelated and not in your channel. And even if it stayed in your channel, your current vlogs are all very short, under 6 minutes. So you would have to be, a person would have to, because I don't know how you can click on repeat. You can't repeat. But what I was doing with your old vlogs, it would take, typically it would be about 2 times a day. I would go and check and click play again, play all. And I'm guessing it had hours and hours worth because your videos were so long. So just a note, just something if you want, because I want to support you in that. If you can change your old vlogs from unlisted to public, then that way when I play that playlist, you'll get the hours counted. That was something I wanted to make sure that I told you, so I'm glad I did. We're at 7 minutes, so my wrist, by the way, I did pray. I know on a previous video I was talking about my wrist pain and how it was related to some bitterness and stubbornness of not wanting to let go, not trusting the Lord with the situation. I did some inner healing and I prayed about it, and my wrist is 100% better and no pain, and God is good. And I understand it's a continual process, or it can be at times, where there are parts of me who may not want to trust, but I trust. My core person who I am, I trust God and what He says, and I know that God will do what He said He will do. I understand that His timing is different than my timing, and I'm just going to trust Him in this. I know that we'll be reunited. I know that. There's no doubt about it. And I know that I am your mother. God chose me for a reason. And He has given all 3 of us, Warren, Clara, myself, and even Wyatt, everything that we need to overcome this. Because Wyatt was not Brian's child. He wasn't, period. And I know that God He will redeem this. I know He will. I love you guys so much. I'm going to end in a prayer, and then I'm going to clip in the BONETA cobbler so that you guys know how to make the peach and blueberry. You can use any fruit you want. I just happen to really like peaches and blueberries, which you guys do too. So Father God, I just thank you so much for Warren and Clara. Lord, I thank you for revealing to us the things that we need to address when we need to address them, as you did the other day with my wrist, Lord. Thank you that you have a way of getting our attention before it's too late. You have a way of getting our attention because you love us so much, so much. Father, I just lift up Wyatt, Warren, and Claire to you. Lord, I pray that they will seek you, know your love for them. Lord, that you will give them a peace that surpasses all understanding in this separation, in this alienation period, which we know in the scheme of things and long, and it is short. But Lord, I ask that you shorten that even more, and that you bring them home, that you reunite Warren and Clara with me, their mother. Lord, as I know you have chosen me to raise them, chosen me to be their mom, and to teach them the things of you, Father. Lord, I ask for showing us your mercy so that we can extend mercy to others in our lives. And Lord, I ask that you just continue to love on Wyatt, Warren, and Clara in ways that I cannot. And we just thank you. We give you all honor, glory, and praise. And Lord, I ask, reunite. I will not stop petitioning like the woman did in the judge in the Bible, that she kept going to the judge and she never gave up. So Lord, I don't give up. I will not give up. And I ask that you please reunite Warren and Clara with me. In your heavenly name, amen. I love you guys so much. I love you, and I hope that you guys get an opportunity to make this next recipe, which is going to be cooked in, which is the BONETA Cobbler. It's super easy. All right, I love you guys. Bye. Hey, my loves. So I'm going to show you how to make the BONETA Cobbler. The ingredients are right here. I'm going to put them in the description so you know them. But we're first going to mix 1 cup of flour with 3/4 cup of sugar, 2 teaspoons of baking powder. We will sift that together, which I will show you, and then we'll make like a little hole. So I'm going to put all of it in this bowl. We'll sift, or we will mix all of the dry ingredients together, and then we'll make like a little hole in the center where we'll pour in a 1/2 cup of milk. And I do everything dairy free, so we'll use almond milk. First, we're gonna start with 1 cup of flour. And the best way to do that, hopefully you can see that, yep, is, so I always use plastic cup measurements for any dry ingredients, which flour, sugar would be a dry ingredients. And then on liquid ingredients, I'll always use metal or stainless steel, whatever you want to call that. So once I've scooped up the flour, which I did, now I'm going to pat it down with the flat edge of a knife. And what that does is it settles all of this flour into the bottom. So that way we make sure we have 1 full cup. And I do that with all ingredients, dry ingredients. So now I'm just going to, I don't know if you guys can see this, I'm going to scoop off and level, and that is 1 cup. So I'm gonna put that in there. And now we're gonna do the sugar. All right, guys, my phone died, so I had to plug it in. Thank goodness for my battery pack, because our plug-in for some reason isn't working right there. So I've put the flour inside here. Hopefully my phone didn't die when that was happening. So I put 1 cup of flour, which I used the plastic measuring, and then I used a knife to level it out. Now we're gonna add 3/4 cup of sugar. And let's find my measuring cup. And let's see if you can see this. Yes. All right, so I'm gonna use the knife again to level it off. I don't have to pat it down because of the sugar is heavy and it fills all space. So I have a 1/4 cup here, and we need 3/4, which means we need 3 of these. That's funny. You saw me tapping that down. There's 2. And then here's the 3rd one. We love sugar, right? Okay, so I'm gonna move that out of my way. I'm gonna move the flour out of my way. And I just realized I had taken frozen blueberries out of the freezer, and I need to put them back in the freezer. So this cobbler recipe that I'm following, and actually you can use any berries or peaches you want, or whatever it is, maybe strawberries. This cobbler is going to be a peach, and a blueberry cobbler. So I do have peaches from that peach tree from our neighbor, so I'm gonna slice those up. I won't do that on camera, but I will show you how to do at least one. So I will do that one right now. The recipe calls for 2 cups of blueberries and 2 cups of peaches. So you could do the same thing if you were gonna do strawberries. You could do 2 cups of strawberries. So now I'm going to cut this up, which actually you guys know how to slice it. So I do somewhat thin but wide slices. Hopefully you can see that. I'll show you. So there's one. Get an idea of how thin it is. So I'm going to fill this up to 2 cups, which is the top line here. So I'm gonna go ahead and do another one. And you can use whatever knife you want, or whatever one feels most comfortable. Okay, so I'm gonna show you how do you cut a peach, because there's a pit in it, so you can't cut it in half. So the best way to do it is to cut a circle all the way around like you would maybe an apple. And then, so I have it cut across, and so I started at the top. Hopefully you can see this. I started at the top and I went all the way around. Now I twist this, because I want to twist it and break it free from the pit. There you go. So now, this is kind of cool. I use a apple core to take the pit out, because these peaches aren't like super ripe, which work out just fine. So there we go. And then I always cut this piece off right here. So I'm gonna cut that out. And then I will, anything that looks like I would not want to eat it, then I just take that off. So I'm gonna cut 2 cups worth of peaches, which is probably literally just those, maybe one more peach. I took blueberries out of the freezer. I did 2 cups of frozen blueberries, and you can do frozen blueberries, but you want to get them soft. You don't want to get them mushy, so you don't want to warm them up, but you at least want to get it soft. So I'm going to take it out of the hot water, so I put them in here, and then I soaked them in some hot water to get them soft. They're at the point where by the time I'm done prepping everything else, it'll be ready for me to mix into the cobbler. So I'm just gonna keep those out right now and set them aside. Now I'm gonna finish cutting the peaches right now. Okay, so I cut one more peach up, and they're all cut up. So you can see here, this is a little more than 2 cups. That's totally fine. So I have my peaches. I'm gonna put it aside. I'm gonna finish doing the flour ingredients. I'm gonna move my knife out of the way so I don't get hurt. I'm also gonna move my cutting board out of the way because it doesn't need to be there. So right now I have flour and sugar in here, and I need to add 2 teaspoons of baking powder to this. I've got it aside, and the best thing to do is have all of your ingredients on the counter before you start baking or before you start cooking. You know, even if you're doing food, you're gonna do a recipe to marinate some, then still just have everything on the counter so you have easy access and it goes very quickly and smoothly. So I need 2 teaspoons of baking powder. So there's 1. And I also pull out all of the measuring cups, or if it's a teaspoon or a 1/4 teaspoon, I pull everything out so it's ready to go. So I have that ready. I also pull out, everything from spatulas to mixers. We don't even need a hand blender. So we are going to just combine all of the dry ingredients, which is 1 cup of flour, 3/4 cup of sugar, and 2 teaspoons of baking powder. So we're gonna mix it real well, make sure it's well blended, and then I'm going to put a hole. So I'm going to use a spatula. I'm gonna make a little hole in the center. Let me see if I can get that over there. See that? And then I'm going to pour almond milk into the center. The only thing I didn't have out and ready to go was the almond milk. Because I keep the almond milk refrigerated, so I'm shaking it up real well. This one's a new one. So what I do, if I open any new stuff that I know I'm not going to use all of it, I actually will put a date on the very top so I know when I opened it. Especially since you guys aren't here and I'm not baking and cooking as much as I would, especially the amount of ingredients. So I'm going to put on here 6, 12, 24. I don't know if you guys can see that. So I date it so that way when I go to the refrigerator to use it and it's like 3 months from now, I know that it's bad. Okay, so now I'm going to do a half a cup of milk. And because I'm using liquid, I'm going to use stainless steel. So I have a stainless steel measuring cup here. I'm going to pour 1/2 cup of almond milk. Here, I'm going to see so you can see it. So I'm going to pour 1/2 cup of almond milk into the center. And then I'm going to put almond milk aside. Now with almond milk, I always shake the almond milk. I don't know if it's necessary. So now let me show you what I'm gonna do. I am going to start, I should probably turn my under counter lights on. Okay, so now I'm going to start mixing just outside the milk where I poured it and combining it into the dry ingredients. And that way it gets mixed real well. It's gonna be clumpy and you want it to be clumpy. And even if it's runny, it'll still work. It doesn't have to have any particular consistency. You'll see how mine is. It really depends on what you're using. If you're using milk, it'll probably be even more dry and it'll be super clumpy. With almond milk, because of the water in the almonds, when you add, I don't know exactly how it works, but when you add the flour to it and the baking soda or baking powder is what we use. I'm going to put this down so I can mix it, or use my hand. I'll show it to you. So I want to make sure I mix all of, I'm just going to fold it. Let me move the camera out. I call fold it. I'm just going to, there we go. I'm going to fold it into, so basically, I guess another word you could call it is mash it into the flour. But I want all of that mixed into the wet ingredients. And then we'll have our cobbler. So we're almost done. Like this BONETA cobbler recipe is super simple and it doesn't call for very many ingredients. Let me show it to you. So you can see it's it's not super clumpy, but if you're using milk, most likely it's going to be a lot more clumpier. So now I'm going to mix the fruit together. I'm going to take this, let me move my camera back so you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm going to set this aside. This is done. This is the cobbler stuff. And I'm going to, I do know what I need to do. So I need to melt butter into individual pie pans. Since you guys are not with us, I use these little 5-inch pie pans to do individual cobblers. I put I put 1 tablespoon per 5-inch individual pie pan. So I'm going to add 1 tablespoon to 4 of these. I did make a full recipe a few days ago with 8. So I did 8 individual pie pans. Actually, I might do 5 tonight. So I'm gonna do 5. It'll just be a little bit bigger. And then the cobblers itself. So I'm gonna put 1 tablespoon per pie pan. And the best way to do that is use a block of whatever butter you're gonna use. And then on your block of butter, it should have a tablespoon measurement. So on this one, there's a little mark here, and I will cut to this whole slice here will be 1 tablespoon. So I'm gonna use the same knife, and I find, hopefully you can see what I'm doing. I find, oops, I don't know when it stopped, but it stopped. What I wanna do, what you'll do is you'll cut 1 tablespoon, wherever the mark is on your butter. You'll cut 1 tablespoon, stick it in your pie pan, and then melt it. I'm gonna do that with the other 4 pie pans. Okay, now while the butter is melting into the pie pans or your cobbler dish, you can now combine your fruit and your sugar. So I've got my 2 cups of peaches, I've got my 2 cups of blueberries. They're soft, they're perfect. They're, you know, slightly frozen, but they're just soft. They're perfect. And then I'm going to add a 1/2 cup of sugar to this. So, let's see here. Okay, so I'm gonna add a 1/2 cup of sugar. And I'm not gonna scrape this one off, I'm just gonna shake it off because it doesn't have to be exact. Really, none of them have to be. And so now I'm going to mix the peaches, the blueberry, and just get it coated with the sugar. So this is how it looks when it's final. I got the sugar, peaches, and blueberries. Alrighty, so now I melted the butter into the individual pie pan. So you can see that it's melted in there. And now I'm gonna drop, or I mean, I guess you could say that. I'm gonna guesstimate maybe about 1/3 of a cup. Hopefully you can see that. And I'm gonna drop, okay, my phone ran out of storage. But I dropped, what I did is 1/3 cup, or just about 1/3 cup, put it into the butter, which is the dough mixture. And then I took about 1/2 cup of the berries that I had mixed in here, and I put it on top of the dough mixture. So I have the butter, the dough, and the berries. And now I'm gonna put this in the oven for 40 minutes. All right, so they're done. I took them out. That's what the final blueberry and peach cobbler look like. And I actually just kind of took the top off of that to eat it. But there you go. That's how you make the BONETA blueberry and peach cobbler. Love you guys. Oh, I forgot to tell you that you bake it at 350 degrees. And you do it for 40 to 50 minutes, depending on your oven, your altitude, all that. I start at 40 minutes. It took 40 minutes on these 5. And then you can always check it every 5 minutes. And it doesn't need to be as brown as this. I probably over browned it, so I probably could have gotten away at more like 37 minutes. But we are very, very low altitude. You guys are a lot higher. All right, love you guys. All right, so it's morning time. I let the pies cool down last night. There we go. I'm not, sorry, they're not pies. They are peach and blueberry cobbler. I let them cool down, and now I am scooping up some vanilla ice cream to put on Hadid's cobbler. Doesn't that look delicious? I just warmed it up in the air fryer, and now I am gonna put some ice cream on it. And there you have it. Got the peach and blueberry cobbler with a couple scoops of lactose-free Breyers vanilla ice cream.